Alright, hello, how's it going, YouTubers? Today I'm going to show you how to replace the LCD screen and the digitizer or the touchscreen of this Samsung A7 2018 model cell phone. This phone belongs to a good friend of mine. Okay, so let's begin. Okay, the first thing you want to do is to melt the glue along the edge of the back plate here with your hot air. Here's my hot air. Alright, here's my setting. The temperature is about 280 and the blow speed is about 99, but that parameters can be adjusted to suit your needs. Okay, so applying heat along the edge of the phone just to melt the glue. Okay. Alright. Now use your pry tool to lift the back plate up. Okay. When you're using a pry tool, don't insert the blade too deep inside the phone because you run a risk of cutting a flex cable inside the phone. Just stick it in at maybe about 1 centimeter. Let's keep going. So when the glue hardens, you can apply more heat just to melt it again. Okay. On the other side. To prevent the backplate from, welding with the phone, you can insert some card or plastic, just to keep it from sticking together again. Maybe more heat on this area. Okay. And now you can try to lift it up. Okay. Be a little bit more heat on this area. All right, let's lift it up nicely. Okay, so the black plate is removed. Okay, now you want to remove the screw. Okay, I'm going to start with the bottom one. There are about 8 screws down the bottom, so you want to keep track of that. The good news is these screws are of the same size, so you don't have to worry about mixing them up. Okay, and now remove the screws on the top part. There are about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 screws. Okay. Now you can use the pry tool to remove this middle housing. Okay, if you could see here, there is, some gap for you to stick in your blade and lift the middle housing. Okay, here we go. Okay. Oh, I forgot to remove the SIM card. Okay, so remove the SIM card. Alright, as you might have seen, while I was trying to remove the middle housing, this thing fell off. Now, this thing here is just a power button, okay? So we have to put that back into the middle housing when we reassemble it. Just don't lose it. Okay. Alright, now the middle housing is removed. Next thing we're going to do is to remove the battery connector. The motherboard flex cable, the LCD flex cable, the two antenna. Here we go. Alright, now there is a small little screw that secures the motherboard to the case, so we're going to remove that screw too. Alright, and the camera. Alright, now remove the motherboard from the housing. Here we go. We don't need it right now. The next thing we're going to do is to remove the LED and the digitizer or the touchscreen from the main housing. So again, you want to apply some heat along the edge of the screen. Okay, again, use your pry tool to remove the LED and the digitizer. Alright, now you could use some solvent, to make the glue inside less sticky. So I'm dipping my blade into the solvent just a little bit. Alright, okay. Now just pull the cable through. Okay, set. You want to clean the leftover of the adhesive because we're going to apply new adhesive. So. Okay, and here is the replacement part. That's the new screen. I'm not going to remove the protective plastic because I'm going to want to taste first if this works, okay, before we glue everything together. Now you want to push this flex cable through this little hole here. Okay. Here we go. All right. So the flex cable goes through this little hole, and here's the bottom part of the phone. Okay, I'm going to put the motherboard back in. In fact, you don't always need to remove the motherboard. The reason I removed the motherboards is because, you know, I was using the heat gun so many times, and I don't want heat to accumulate on this motherboard. Just, you know, try to be safe. Okay, you want to taste the screen. You don't have to plug in everything. I mean, you can leave the antenna alone for now. You just need to plug in the battery connectors, you know, and the motherboard connector, and the LCD flex cable. All right. Okay, now I'm going to put the middle housing back in. This little thing that, you know, failed from my phone earlier actually belongs here. Okay, so I'm going to put it right back to where it belongs. Okay, it's the power button. Okay, so you flip. I'm just putting the middle housings back on, just to taste of, to see if everything works. All right. Okay, so now I'm going to turn on the power button. See if it works. And it works. Okay, just wait a little bit until it boots into the operating system. Okay, now going to see if the digitizer works. Yes, the touchscreen works. Okay. Okay, we can move the icons around the screen, so there's no problem with the digitizer, and the screens seems to be working fine. All right, so it's good. Now let's put everything back. Okay, let's turn it off. I'll remove the middle housing. Okay, remove the battery connectors one more time. Okay, remove the motherboard. Okay, now I'm going to remove the protective plastic at the back. Alright, but I'm not removing this front cover yet. Now we're going to apply industrial glue along the edge of the main housing. Okay, stick that in. Reinstall the motherboard. All right. Oops, I think one antenna is down the bottom. Okay, let's try it again. All right. Okay, let's do the antenna first. Okay, the battery, motherboard flex cable, and the LCD. All right, now the front camera. Okay, now make sure the connection is nice and firm. Okay, look good. Okay, put the black screw to secure the motherboard to the main housing right here. Okay, now I'm going to put this cover back on. Okay, and the middle housing. When you put this back, make sure that that thing stays on, you know, the power button, because it often slips. If you didn't see it, it's going to be a pain removing the middle housing again. Okay. Push it until you hear, you know, a click. Okay, now the housing is back on. Make sure that you put the screw back in the, you know, right hole. There's so many holes here. Try to remember, you know, which hole did you remove the screw. So I'll do the corner first. Okay, when you tighten the screw, don't push it in too hard, because there's a chance that you may damage the circuit board underneath. Okay, try to be gentle. Okay, not too hard. Take it easy. the last one. Okay, now the top compartment. Okay, now before we apply the glue to put the back plates back in, I just want to remove the residues first. Okay, so let's remove the residues of the original adhesive. Use a little bit of our solvent, make it easier to remove the glue. Now we're going to apply the glue before we put the back plate back on. Okay, just along the edge. The back plate back on. Make sure it lines up with the camera. Now we're going to wait for the adhesive to dry. Now let's put the thin tray back in. And that's it. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoy.